is up, ladies and gentlemen? I welcome you guys to my CM Storm Devastator gaming combo review. And before I continue on with the review, I did notice that there are dedicated media keys here. And during the sound test, I did not give you guys the sound of those keys, so of course I gotta make do. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. And on the front side of the board, I have to say the blue backlighting is very beautiful on this membrane base keyboard. It was not rubber dome. I thought it was rubber dome when I first had my initial impressions doing the beginning typing tests. And I seriously thought it would be rubber dome because of how it collapses each and every time you hit the keys. And we lost focus. And we regained focus, which is fantastic. Yeah, so I thought it was rubber dome, but I guess when I look at the website it says membrane, so alright, here we are. And what I did notice here is that this could have been a tacked on wrist rest, is it? Not quite sure. Right here. Could have been tacked on. Could have been a wrist rest. Could have not. Don't know. But if it is, then hard plastic. Very, very bad. If it's not, then alright. And now time for the layout. For the layout of the keyboard. They don't make any sort of shortcuts or cost-cutting shortcomings. Long backspace, long shift keys, long enter key, space bar, everything is nice and aligned, which is fantastic. And I gotta say once again, that blue LED lights, it's very, very great. Although this is a gaming keyboard, I have to say a gaming mode, some kind of dedicated gaming mode would be nice. It's not the case here. We don't have any sort of gaming mode button or function to gaming mode. Nada, zip, nothing. And alright, I guess, because of the price of the combo, I guess you can say we can excuse that. Now, on to the back of the board and the cable. Okay, it looks like it's focusing quite well, which is fantastic. On to the back of the keyboard, we have the cable, standard fare, then rubber, which is excusable, I guess, considering the price. And of course, that thin rubber is being connected to a silver unfocused USB tip. And now we have focus, which is fantastic. Up next, we have our 4 rubber pieces. Excuse me. And these rubber pieces are there for decorations only. They're not usable. My initial force testing, it moves all over the place. Now, comes with the stand. It's also not rubber coated, which is again very much expectable considering the price point. And it will move all over the place. Now, I'm going to bring you guys back once I plugged in the keyboard, and you guys will notice 2 blue holes. Hopefully you guys can explain that to me very soon. We are back, and these were the 2 blue holes where the blue LED lights will bleed out from, which I have no idea why they designed that. If you guys do know, please tell me. That would be great. Hopefully it's a feature and not some sort of fluke. Which is around this time is when I should be going to the software, but there is no software. And that is when we go to the typing experience. Right about now. On to the typing experience. These membrane keys are actually quite enjoyable to type, believe it or not. They have a nice sound to them, and they feel quite solid. They feel somewhat accurate whenever I type, which is good considering that it's membrane based, and considering again the price point. It's fantastic to know that it types pretty decently. Then of course now we're on to it not focusing, and of course let's talk about gaming, since this is a gaming keyboard, gaming gear combo. It said so in the box. And aesthetically, it's a gaming keyboard. Performance wise, it's not. Why? Because there's no macro functions, there's no bank of macro keys, and membrane switches are just not the best for gaming. If you want to play video games, use reds or blacks. Yeah, reds or blacks. I would say brown, but I think brown is not gaming. Brown, I mentioned before, was the jack of all trade and a master of none. So it's decent at pretty much whatever you want to do with the keyboard. But gaming-wise, no, it's not. And thus, this is aesthetically a gaming keyboard. Performancely, it's not a gaming keyboard. It doesn't have gaming features. It doesn't even have a gaming mode. So, you know, not really a gaming keyboard. And that's not good. But then again, considering the price point, is that excusable? Is it? We will come back to that. And now, it's time to move on to the mouse. Here we have it, folks, with the mouse, with its very gamer-centric design, DPI switch, which for a gaming mouse has very low DPI actually. I believe it was 10. Of course I gotta be accurate, so it's gonna be 1000, 1600, and 2000. And I said 10 in the beginning, which is way off. But on a different subject, the blue LED lighting is quite nice. And we lost focus, which is always the best. This camera loves to lose focus on the mouse. It loves that. And this scroll wheel is very nice and very pronounced. I really like the scroll wheel a lot. I think they did a really good job there. Left click and right click are well done. And I believe that's is the sound of the mouse. Right? You would want to click them. Do mice have different sound when you click on them? Not quite sure. Haven't really paid attention much to the mousing world. I guess it's about time. And now, of course, on to the cable. The cable is standard fare with thin rubber and silver USB tips, which is of course very similar to the keyboard. And of course, it was only 14 seconds, but I still think it's needed to be covered. And now on to the gaming side. I'm going to have this mice turned on so you guys can enjoy its beautiful blue LED backlighting. Of course, now we have the gaming side of the mouse, which is, I believe, one of the main reasons why people get gaming mice. They actually spend more money on a gaming mouse than a gaming keyboard because it makes more sense. Right? Is that true? Or is that not true? I'm not sure. But anyways, Since this is supposedly a gaming mouse, 1000, 1600, and 2000 DPI, that's really low, by the way. And I don't think it's gonna cut it. I don't know if you guys notice here. Oh, yes, it's focused enough where you guys can see the buttons. Fantastic. Okay, so these two side buttons are usually very great when it comes to a software. When we don't have a software, they're useless. Correct me if I'm wrong. Give me the link to the software. That would be fantastic. I try to find it. I can't find it. I look up on Google, look at Reddit, Tom's Hardware. There's no software. There's no driver for the Devastator at all. So if there is, please tell me. That would be great. And we can finally, or I can finally use these two buttons. Now, what I did notice a lot of people saying is that this particular mouse will break really quickly. A lot of people are saying the mouse breaks within 3 hours of use. This is not true. I am a prime example telling you guys this is not true, because I have been using this for a lot more than 3 hours and it's just fine. Nothing's wrong with it. I'm not saying it's good. It's not a good mouse. It's below average. But it works. It's not like it's not working. It works. It's just the standard of how they make it. It's not up to par. And of course now we're going to move on to the final verdict. And I will have you guys see the keyboard. I figured it would be nice to have the keyboard and the mice in the shot at the same time being focusing, but I guess I can't have it all. You know what? Yes, I can. Now, on to the final verdict. The reason why I said before on my Logitech G105 review was that this was the benchmark for membrane rubber dome based keyboard because of the price point. This types better than the G105. And no, I'm not going to say from my experience, from my opinion. Nope, that's not how I do these things. I'm going to take a stand. And the stand I'm taking is that this keyboard types better than the G105. And this costs a lot less than a G105. And you get a mice. Not a very good one, but you get a mice. So, yeah guys, this retails for $29.99. And I think it's really good as a starter kit on a budget gaming rig. But of course, if you can, save up a little bit more money. You could buy this and then start going to work and start saving up money, or do whatever you can to get the coin and get yourself a nice mechanical keyboard that fits your bill. Obviously, membranes and rubber dome are good too. They're adequate, but they're not the best, and they won't last that long. No matter how you put it, they just don't last that long. And for this particular keyboard, remember, I said this was the benchmark. So I guess if you guys watch the G105 review and kind of put the 2 and 2 together, you know exactly what I'm going to say. And what I'm going to say is, come and get it.